I went through something that I thought I would never ever go through.
There has been negative propaganda put out about me that's not true.
At that time, Puff was the biggest guy in the world. You know, you couldn't...
Jamie Foxx might not be the good guy everyone believed he was. New information is coming to light that could completely change his image. It seems Jamie wasn't just a guest at Diddy's notorious parties, he was heavily involved. And let's be clear, these weren't your typical Hollywood gatherings. Things got wild, and Jamie was right in the middle of it. Now, the feds are leaking details that suggest Jamie was more than just an innocent bystander. It looks like our Hollywood hero is about to face a major downfall, and things could get ugly. But that's not all. Jamie has been hiding more than just his partying ways. Remember his health scare last year? Some are saying it wasn't just bad luck, and rumors are swirling that Diddy might have been involved. So, what really happened during those 20 days when Jamie disappeared?
Getting his part, so the way I would get in his parties, I show up with a can.
When Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse so that they would participate in the freak-offs.
Appeared from the public eye. Let's take a step back to April 2023 when Jamie Foxx, the man everyone thought was untouchable, was suddenly hospitalized due to a serious medical emergency. His daughter Corinne announced on Instagram that her father was on the mend thanks to quick medical intervention, but no one revealed what had actually happened to him. For weeks, there was complete silence, no updates, no statements, nothing. Fans were left wondering what was really going on. Then, out of nowhere, comedian Cat Williams entered the conversation, dropping some serious allegations. According to Kat, Jamie's medical emergency...
So, Jamie Foxx suffered a very serious medical emergency that landed him in the hospital.
Wasn't a random occurrence. He hinted that Diddy orchestrated it to keep Jamie quiet about what really went down at those infamous parties. The story took an even darker turn, with reports claiming Jamie was telling people in the hospital that someone was trying to kill him. Insiders even said that Jamie feared for his life, believing Diddy was after him. When Jamie finally made a public appearance, he gave an interview that left many confused. He mentioned going through something unimaginable, but kept the details vague, almost as if he was afraid to say too much. He later returned to Instagram, thanking his fans for their support with his usual upbeat energy, saying he was feeling better and was grateful for all the love during his difficult time. But despite his positive words, fans were still left suspicious. The secrecy surrounding his illness led to speculation, with one fan saying, "When
that nigga got so much money, he did something we never heard of. We ain't even say shit." Jamie Foxx said he got a mystery illness.
They kept Jamie's illness so secretive, I knew Diddy was behind it. He tried to poison him, in my opinion. Another person commented, and then Jamie ends up in a coma with no explanation, just like Kim Porter's ex-husband, Al B. Sure. He was talking about Kim's suspicious death, and next thing you know, he was in a coma too. Al B. Sure had previously suggested that Diddy was involved in Kim Porter's death, and shortly after, he suffered a stroke. Many believe Diddy tried to silence him, just like they now wonder if Jamie's situation was eerily similar. This theory gained momentum, with people connecting the dots between Jamie's sudden health crisis and Diddy's infamous reputation for making
A mystery illness. I thought we knew all the illnesses. Didn't you think we knew all the illnesses?
people who cross him disappear from the public eye. So whatever the case may be, Jamie didn't recover overnight. It took him months to finally feel like himself again. On August 16th, 2023, Jamie shared an emotional post on Instagram, writing, "You're looking at a man who is thankful, finally starting to feel like myself. So it's been an unexpected dark journey, but I can see the light. I'm thankful to everyone that reached out and sent well wishes and prayers. You just don't know how much it meant. I will be thanking all of you personally. And if you didn't know, God is good all day, every day." It was clear that Jamie had gone through something serious, but the full story remains shrouded in mystery.
I want to thank everybody. I've been through something. I've been through some things. You know, it's crazy. I couldn't do that 6 months ago. I couldn't actually walk to...
Jamie Foxx's recent hospitalization might be more suspicious than we first thought. The timing is especially curious, as it lines up with Cassie's lawsuit against Diddy, where she accuses him of some seriously disturbing things. Turns out, that lawsuit was just scratching the surface. What if Diddy's notorious parties weren't just wild but downright dangerous? And Jamie wasn't just an occasional guest, he was a regular. We need to talk about these so-called freak-offs. These weren't your typical Hollywood parties. According to reports, things got seriously dark. Allegedly, Diddy didn't just host these events, he used violence and threats to force women into uncomfortable situations and even recorded everything as blackmail. That's some next-level creepy stuff.
First of all, I want to say thank you to everybody that's prayed, man, and sent me messages. I cannot even begin to tell you how far it took me and how it brought me.
Word is that these parties could last for days, with people partying so hard they needed IVs to keep going. It sounds like something out of a horror movie, but this was happening in the heart of Hollywood. Now, you might think Jamie was just a guest and not involved in the darker side of things, but it's reported that he was a regular at these events. This raises questions about how much he knew. We're not accusing Jamie of anything illegal, but being around these scenes and seeing what went on could weigh heavily on someone's conscience. Maybe that's why he's been acting strange lately. Perhaps he's afraid of what might come out if he starts talking. And let's not forget about those alleged recordings Diddy made. If Jamie was caught on tape, it could explain his recent silence. He might be worried about what could surface if he speaks out. Some sources claim Jamie wasn't just a guest, but may have been Diddy's right-hand man at these parties. Jamie's been very careful about what he...
Back, I went through something that I thought I would never ever go through. And I know a lot of people were waiting, or wanting to hear updates, but to be honest with you,
he says regarding these events, making people wonder what he's hiding. It's been suggested that he witnessed some disturbing things during these freak-offs. In fact, Jamie has even confirmed some long-held fan suspicions. Back in the day, he was reportedly obsessed with Diddy's infamous parties and even took on the job of filming them. If that's true, it means Jamie could have evidence of what really happened behind closed doors. And if those tapes ever got out, it would be game over for a lot of people. Remember that TikTok user who claimed her mom was close to Jamie? She mentioned something about naked basketball.
Kim is dead. Heavy D is dead.
yeah.
Andre Harrell is dead. The only two left are Puffy and Al almost died. Isn't that interesting?
All games Jamie used to host. It might sound like harmless fun, but when you add that to everything else we're hearing about Diddy's parties, it starts to look a bit suspicious. All of this has people looking at Jamie in a completely different light. He's always been seen as the smooth, charming guy everyone loves, but now a darker side might be emerging, one that's been hiding some pretty serious secrets. And this rabbit hole goes even deeper than we thought. Consider Usher, who lived with Diddy when he was just 14. Usher has hinted at some curious things happening during that time, things he didn't fully understand back then. Reading between the lines, it sounds like some inappropriate behavior might have taken place. And Usher isn't the only one. There's talk about young artists like YK Osiris getting caught up in this too. These are...
I need you to come meet him. I need this for my camera. Dr. Roof and Puff at the Beverly Hills Hotel pool, dancing, doing their thing, right? And you know what they dancing to? Over in the corner, God bless, is Heavy D, Andre Harrell, and they listening to a demo. You know what the demo is? Right. Bum, 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 bum.
Artists barely out of their teens seem to have been drawn into Diddy's world, and it's starting to look like a troubling pattern. There are also rumors that Jay-Z and Kanye West were regulars at these parties. While there's no suggestion they did anything illegal, it makes you wonder what they might have witnessed and perhaps turned a blind eye to. Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, has come forward, claiming he saw some questionable behavior involving young men at these events. Every day, it seems like more pieces of this twisted puzzle are coming to light. Even Reggie Wright Jr. has spoken out about the rumors surrounding Will Smith and Dwayne Martin, adding more fuel to this already blazing fire. So it seems like Jamie, Dayan, and others could be at the center of something far bigger and darker than anyone imagined. The most unsettling aspect.
I'm following Puff, and his parties were like amazing. We in Philly one day. I fly to Philly, town car, same business, go up. But Puff say this party, Playboy, this party right here, I see $1.5 million. I said, what? You spent $1.5 million on this party?
Of Hollywood is its culture of secrecy. It feels like everyone is holding damaging information on one another, and no one wants to be the first to speak out. People are starting to wonder if there's an entire network of influential individuals working to keep these scandals hidden. It seems that Jamie Foxx was more deeply involved than we initially thought. Some are saying he witnessed things at these parties that shook him to his core, things that shook him of that would make even the wildest Hollywood tales seem mild. According to insiders, Jamie began to feel uneasy about the events taking place at these freak-offs. He had been part of that world for years, but suddenly it hit him that he was in too deep. While Jamie has been trying to keep a low profile, the FBI has reportedly been piecing together.
Like, if you take the O out of his name and replace it with a U, that's what she used to call him. But to his face, it's like a haha joke because he used to bang so many guys and girls in Hollywood.
A case against Diddy for months. They're investigating various illegal activities, and Jamie's name keeps coming up in the discussions. Now, it seems the FBI may have some highly damaging evidence, including videos, texts, and possibly recordings. It's been over a week since Diddy was hit with a serious list of federal charges, including racketeering conspiracy. However, instead of clarity, the situation is getting murkier. Diddy's arrest sent shockwaves through the industry, and as days go by, the allegations are raising even more questions. Diddy is preparing to confront these accusations in court, and he's not backing down. According to him,
and he used to have these things called butt-naked basketball games, okay? He would invite over a lot of like Hollywood's elite to his house for a basketball game, but it was men only. And they would be like, oh, we're just gonna get naked and play basketball. It's like, oh, haha, let's get naked and play basketball together. Which is
his lawyer, Mark Agnello, the hip-hop mogul, is determined to prove his innocence, even if it means testifying himself. Yes, you read that correctly. Diddy is set to testify in a new documentary by TMZ titled The Downfall of Diddy, The Indictment. Fans are getting a preview of what to expect, and it looks like things are about to get messy. Agnello emphasized that while there are risks associated with someone like Diddy taking the stand, he believes his client is the best person to defend himself. However, this trial isn't just about typical accusations. Diddy will have to address some pretty outrageous matters, including the infamous Cassie situation and the bizarre freak.
So the way I would get in this party is I show up with a camera.
Puff, yo, you gotta let me film this. The whole thing, we need to document this, Playboy.
Puff is there, and it's all about him. And I'll never get.
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I mean, but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some
offs that have been making headlines for all the wrong reasons. One of the most unusual details to emerge from this scandal is the mention of baby oil and lubricant. Yes, you heard that right, 1,000 bottles of each were reportedly seized from Diddy's home. His lawyer is just as baffled as everyone else, but his explanation is that Diddy has a large house and apparently buys in bulk. Make of that what you will. As Diddy sits in a Brooklyn jail awaiting his court date, he's not just facing legal challenges. He's been charged with RICO violations, and the court has denied—
You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
I told that story about Jada and Will. Man, I done told y'all at least 2 different occasions over here on Bombshells.
His bail request twice. To make matters worse, he's in a facility that has been criticized for inhumane conditions, which intensifies the situation. Some reports even claim he's been placed on suicide watch. Now, Jamie finds himself in a difficult position. On one hand, he could cooperate with the FBI and disclose everything he knows about Diddy's operations, which might save his own skin. But that would mean turning on someone who has been in his circle for years, not to mention the potential backlash he would face in Hollywood for being labeled a snitch. On the other hand, if Jamie keeps quiet, he risks going down with Diddy, and let's be honest, jail time anyone, especially not a Hollywood A-lister. And we can't forget about the other celebrities who frequented Diddy's parties. If Jamie starts talking, who else might find themselves caught in the crossfire? We're talking about some of the biggest names in music and film. This situation could quickly become a Hollywood house of cards, with Jamie right at the center of it all. Some of you might wonder why Jamie would risk everything by associating with Diddy's crew in the first place. Perhaps Jamie thought he was untouchable or underestimated how deep he was getting involved. Or maybe he was fully aware of the risks and thought he could evade the consequences. Regardless of his reasoning, too deep now. The clock is ticking, and the FBI isn't going to stop until they get what they want. Every day seems to bring new leaks of evidence that draw Jamie closer to the heart of this mess. Some insiders suggest that the feds might be using Jamie as a means to reach the bigger target, Diddy himself. They believe that if they can flip Jamie, he could have enough insider knowledge to take down Diddy's entire operation. But that's a big if. Jamie has been in this game long enough to know when to keep quiet. With the FBI closing in and Hollywood holding its breath, Jamie Foxx's future looks as unpredictable as a weather forecast in Tornado Alley.
That Will and Dwayne were... But now that somebody else said it, I guess y'all believe.
One moment he's on top of the world, and the next he's dodging questions like he's trying to escape the paparazzi. If Jamie faces charges, it won't just be one star falling from grace, it could trigger a domino effect that brings down some of the biggest names in the industry. There are whispers that Jamie might consider cutting a deal with the feds to protect himself, but that's a risky move. If he starts naming names, he could find it nearly impossible to work in Hollywood again. The industry has a long memory, and whistleblowers don't exactly get celebrated. On the other hand, if Jamie stays silent, he risks taking the blame for much more than just attending a few wild parties. Jamie's descent from Hollywood's golden boy to someone embroiled in Diddy's chaotic world is striking. Each day brings fresh rumors and shocking tales about what truly occurred at those freak-offs, and the wildest part is that this might only be the beginning. One person remarked that Jamie was involved in this scandal as well. With all this drama unfolding, people are scrutinizing every celebrity, questioning who might be next to fall. It raises an intriguing thought in Hollywood: is anyone genuinely as innocent as they appear? Or is it all just a facade?